Okay, we are officially live. That's awesome. Okay, so yesterday we just, what?
Lights,
Camera, fractions.
I didn't know whether you guys were going to do it or not, so I didn't. Okay, well, we did it. Okay, lights, camera, fractions. Yeah, okay. So yesterday we basically reviewed stuff that all of you, it seemed like everybody knew, which was how to graph on a coordinate or Cartesian plane, right? I remembered the guy's name, by the way, it was Descartes. And they turned it into Cartesian plane. But anyways, in the moment I drew a blank. And but so we're going to use a T-chart, that method first. The beauty of a T-chart is it works for everything. It works for straight lines. It works for parabolas. It works for V's, which are absolute value problems. It works for any kind of a problem that they could throw you in Algebra 1 or Algebra 2. You can use a T-chart and you will always graph it correctly as long as you do your math correctly, right? So T-charts are really, really valuable to know how to do and to feel comfortable doing them. And there's just a few little tricks of the trade. And we already started yesterday. I did a fairly easy one yesterday. I'm now going to do one that's slightly harder. None of them are going to be hard, but just slightly harder. So let's say I gave you y is equal to 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5. And I wanted to graph that. All right? So I'm going to create a T-chart, and I basically do a great big T, and I put my x on the left and my y on the right. And which one do I choose? Do I choose the x's or do I choose the y's?
X. No, X is first, right?
I choose the x's, right? I get to choose the x's. Y, because I am choosing the x's, y is dependent on x. Do you see why? Does that make sense?
I know why.
Y is dependent on x because I'm choosing the x's. Y is dependent on me, right? In a way. And I'm choosing x, and what am I going to choose here?
Like 1, 2, 3.
0, 1, 2.
Always start with 0 because 0 is the easiest one. And then 1, and then like Tom said, you could do 0, 1, 2, 3, or 0, 1, 2. As long as you have 3 points, those 3 points are going to, that third
Wait,
point.
don't you just like put like for the X one you put like you put 0 and then that would equal y and this would equal y.
What?
What I'm going to do, Tom, is I'm going to plug this x in, this 0 in for x up here,
Yeah.
and then see what y equals when I do that. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure if that's what you meant. But is this on? Yeah, it's on here. So if I plug 0 into this, I could write it out right here if I want. Y is equal to 2 times 0 plus 5. What's 2 times 0?
0.
Good job. 0 plus 5 is 5. Phew. You had me scared for a second there, but okay. All right, so it's 5, right? Pretty easy, right? And now if x is 1, y is equal to 2 times 1 plus 5. What's 2 times 1? 2 plus 5 is 7, right? So I put a 7, right? Pretty straightforward. You write it on the stem? Let me see. Where have you written any of this down? Okay, write it all down. Everything on this board gets on your notes. I want to see your notes at the end. Uh-oh. Hang on. Wait a minute. We just moved our thing. Why is this happening? All right, there we go. Okay, so that's going to work. All right, if x is 2, I go y is equal to 2 times x, which is 2, plus 5. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. So I have 9. Right? And now I just go and I graph it. So here's my graph. I've got 0, 5. Remember, these are points. So that's, let me see this? That's 0, 5. And I don't have to keep writing these like this because I'm just showing these are already points in the order that they are. That's why you put the x first and the y second. Okay? And so if I plot this, 0, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dot. And then 1, 7, 1, 7, 6, 7, dot. And then 2, 9, 2, 9s, 8, 9, dot. Are they in a straight line? Yeah, they are. Except I didn't quite do that in the right spot. More like that, right? All right. And so they're a straight line. So I just draw a straight line through those dots, and I put an arrow on the end of each. And I know I did it right because they're a straight line. If one of those was not in the straight line, then I would have had to go back and check my math to find the one that I made a mistake on. Does that make sense? We know it's a straight line. Is that clear? Make sense? Graph it. And where is your title? Come on, everything. I expect everything. Right? Everybody else is putting titles, right? Okay. All right, so I'm going to erase this. Can I erase it?
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty straightforward. What if I just gave you something like this? Y is equal to X. Well, let's try it again. We do our T-chart, X and Y. If X is 0, what would Y be?
0.
0. If X were 1, what would Y be?
1.
1. If X were 2, what would Y be? 2, right? These are easy, right? So for that one, right? For that one, when we graph it, we have 0, 0, which is right there. We have 1, 1, which is right there. We have 2, 2, which is right there. Right? And it's a straight line. And I draw that. It's always going to be a straight line. Right? If it isn't, you screwed up. There's something you did wrong. You made a mistake, right? All right. So here we go. What if I gave you, am I going too fast?
No.
Okay. What if I gave you this? Y is equal to negative 2x. That didn't work out. Sorry, hang on. Y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. All right, so let's try that. Here's my T-chart. What am I going to put here? What am I going to put here?
0,
You're going to put 0, 1, 2.
0, 1, 2. Okay, so now I've got y is equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 4. What's negative 2 times 0? 0. So it's just 4, right? All right. So this is y is equal to negative 2 times 1 plus 4. So that's negative 2 plus 4. What would that be? 2? All right. Y is equal to negative 2 parentheses 2 plus 4. So what's negative 2 times 2? Negative 4 plus 4. That's 0, right? So 0. So now I would plot these points, right? I'm just using the same graph. Right? And so we've got 0, 4. 0, 4. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot. I'm kind of going fast on this part because I think you know how to graph, right? Am I right? You know how to plot the points. 1, 2. 1, up 2. Over 1, up 2. Dot. And then 2, 0. I go to the right 2 and I put a dot right there. And that is close enough. It's a straight line. So I draw my line again. Notice the direction of the line. On the others, which way were they going? They were going up to the right. You agree with me? What did we notice? That the number in front of the x was a positive number.
And then it goes that way.
And as soon as we go negative, it goes negative down to the right, right? As when they're positive, they're going to go up to the right. Positive, higher, higher. Right? And we'll talk about that more later. But that is just a wonderful thing to remember. Now, so these are pretty straightforward. Just Fistify. Do you guys understand these? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the ones that get more complicated are fractions, where instead of a negative 2x, they had like a negative 1/2 x, or a positive 2/3 x, or something like that. The what?
are doing fractions tomorrow.
No, we're gonna do that today,
Are they gonna?
because they're on the homework as well. But it's not as hard as you think. It's not very hard. All right, let's just, all right, so now we're talking about fractions. Now I got rid of no fractions, now it just says fractions, sorry. I thought I was gonna do it over there, but I need that side. I don't have a lot of space on this board with the thing. So these are now fractions, all of these are fractions. So what if I gave you y is equal to 1/2 x plus 2? Now, I could use my 0, 1, and 2. I mean 0, 1, and 2, right? I could do that. It totally works. The only trouble is you're going to end up having things, you're going to have fractions in your answer, right? So I'm going to first do it the way I've been showing you, just 0, 1, and 2. Now, if x were 0, y is equal to 1/2 times 0 plus 2. What's the answer?
0 or 2.
So anything times 0 is 0, so that's out. So it's just 2, right? And then y is equal to 1/2 times 1 plus 2. What would that be? What's 1 times 1/2? It's 1/2. What's 1/2 plus 2? 2.5. So 2.5, right?
Basically the same.
And 3 is 1/2, sorry, 2. 1/2 times 2 plus 2. What's 1/2 times 2? It's 2 over 2. 2 over 2, which is 1. So it's 1 plus 2, which is 3, right? You with me?
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward, right? So this half here, when you're dealing with halves, it's not so hard. It's not so hard. You can graph a half, right? That's not so hard. If I had to graph a half, I could do it, right? So, okay, we have boom, 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 boom. Okay, so 0, 2, 0, 2, up there. 1, 2.5. 1, 2.5. Guys, watch. I'm hearing a lot of talking all of a sudden. So 1, 2.5, and then 2, 3. 2, 3 is right there. Okay, that worked fairly well, didn't it? Now, but I'm going to show you another method. Is that okay? And because it'll be easier in the long run to know this method. And you're welcome to use this the 0, 1, 2 if that feels comfortable to you. The trouble is if you had 2/3 or 3/5, suddenly it gets complicated. Kind of the fractions that you're going to have to graph. You know what I'm saying? Or 1/10. Oh my God, well what's 1/10 on a graph? Right? So this is what I do. I do this. I always start with 0. Alright, so this is what I do with fractions. Write this down in your notes. With fractions, this is a great method. My first number is always 0, just like the other method. The second number is the denominator. What's the denominator in this? 2. So that's going to be a 2. And the third number is the denominator times 2. In other words, I multiply that denominator times 2. It's 4, so it's 4. So 0, 2, and 4 is what I'm doing. That make sense? And I will have no fractions now in my y. Okay? So again, I've got y is equal to 0 plus 2, which is 2. Okay? Y is equal to 1/2 times 2 plus 2. Right? 1/2 times 2 is 2 halves. 2 halves is 1. Right? So it's 1 plus 2. So it's 3. You with me? Get it? Mm-hmm. And then y is equal to 1/2 times what? 4? Plus 2. So that's 4 halves. What's 4 divided by 2? It's 2, right? So it's 2 plus 2, that's 4. Look at that. I have no fractions now in this side. It's not hard, right? It's pretty easy. Did I lose anybody in doing that? Did you understand it? So if I said, okay, and then I could graph it and you would find it. If I graphed it, you'll see it's a straight line. I'm not going to bother graphing just because we're running out of time. So now I'm going to test you guys, okay? I'm going to test you guys. If I gave you this, y is equal to 2/3 x plus 1. If you use this new method, what would be my first number for my x? Micah?
It would be
0. Okay. Second number, Micah, for my x.
1. Oh, no, 2.
What's my denominator?
Oh.
3. It's going to be 3. Okay. Third number, Micah.
It would be
6, right? It's just this times 2, 6. And now I will have no fractions in my answer and my y. So it's easier to graph it. Does that make sense? You see that? All right, I'm going to test you again. Y, okay, so that was that one. Okay, here we go. Y is equal to 1/5 x minus 7. All right, there's my x and y. Okay, Caleb, what's my first x?
0.
0. What's my second x using the new method?
3.
What's my denominator?
5.
It's not going to be the same number every time. It's going to be whatever the denominator is. 5. All right, what's my third number?
7.
Caleb, look. So Rowan, stop, okay? Stop. That's not okay. Leave. Just you got 1 minute outside on the couch, okay? All right. The second number, I don't like that, guys. It's not okay to laugh, right?
But can I laugh at myself?
You can laugh, but it's just not okay, okay? So denominator times 2. So what's 5 times 2? 10. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's 0, the denominator, and then the denominator times 2.
Oh, I
Does that make sense? So if I did, all right, Rowan, you can go back in now. Y is equal to 2/7 x plus 1. Okay, Raven. The first one is 0. Second one is 7. The third one is
14.
beautiful. And you will have no fractions in your y. Does that make sense? Everybody fist to 5. Do you guys get it? Awesome. Okay. So that is it. So I'm going to hand out the homework and then you guys can go.